Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Narvaez, and today I'll be talking about Joseph McCarthy and McCarthyism. Now, before I talk about those two subjects, let me just give a bit of background on this whole thing. So, in the years after World War II ended, events outside the United States and inside the United States made a lot of Americans prove that the Red Menace was real. Now, uh, those realities that kind of sparked it was in 1947, President Truman ordered background checks on every civilian in service to the government. And they later figured out that someone named Albert Hiss, who was a high-ranking State Department official, was convicted of espionage charges, which made a lot of people fear that communism was intensifying in the United States. Another event would be in August 1949 when the Soviet Union exploded its first atomic bomb, in which later that year, uh, the Communist forces pretty much declared victory in the Chinese Civil War, which established the People's Republic of China, therefore making China a communist nation, which made a lot of the American people scared because they were wondering what's going to happen to us next. And then, which started the whole thing was him, Joseph McCarthy. Now, Joseph McCarthy, known for McCarthyism, hence his name in it. But before all that, he was at first a quiet, undistinguished senator. He fought in World War II, and he won being senator, or well, first-time senator, because he used his story of him being a soldier in World War II against his opponent who didn't go to war, in which the people in his town was like, oh, he should be a senator because he's fought for our country while the other guy didn't. Therefore, he won the spot as senator. And he wasn't really popular until February 1950 when he gave his speech in Wheeling, West Virginia, that 205 communists have infiltrated the State Department, which pretty much him saying that made headlines across the US. Like, because of what he said, he gained popularity and support of his campaign of pretty much diminishing all communist people that were in America. Like, he was trying to hump them down. Now, a group, or rather a committee that helped him with that would be the House Un-American Activities Committee, which, because of his whole movement of saying that there's communists within American grounds and using the American people's fear of it to gain popularity, this committee held dramatic public hearings across the country to investigate and expose communist activities in government, education, entertainment, labor, and other fields of American life. So they would also pretty much say that celebrities are being part of the communist movement, that famous people are part of the communist movement, and pretty much will give the American people fake news in order to make them fear more and to be scared of them. And besides famous people, it also target left wingers in Hollywood and liberals in the State Department, which I mean, run by a lot of Republicans and Joseph McCarthy on its back, it's pretty much like an attack on Democrats as well. But now, because of the whole thing, let me talk about the main topic, which is McCarthyism. Now, like I said, Joseph McCarthy created this whole movement of McCarthyism, which this whole campaign that was against alleged communists in the U.S. government and other institutions. And because of that, many who were accused were blacklisted or even lost their jobs because of their accusation. And it's weird because some of them who were accused weren't even part of the Communist Party. It was all because Joseph said this, or well, it was mostly because Joseph said this to them, and because of that, people started to see them as communists. And therefore, his whole crusade of it just demonstrated as a witch hunt for whoever. It was a witch hunt for whoever he says was a communist. To which point it's, why is this whole thing important? Why is this whole thing even something we should look at? And the reason why is because no one was really safe during this era, because McCarthy became judge, jury, and executioner. Now, because of this whole campaign of eliminating and identifying suspected communists, which went around from 1950 to 1954, it pretty much made a lot of people scared for their lives, but also scared of communism. It made them just scared in general of everything, and they didn't know who to trust anymore. And then like there was even a point where McCarthy even like told people that people that Charlie Chaplin, Langston Hughes, or even Albert Einstein was communist as well. To the point where like even some people were starting to notice that he was being like it seemed fake because he's accusing a lot of good people that they're communists. And because of the whole thing, um, at the end of it all, McCarthyism died was when he was at in a trial, and where during the trial, like of to see if like this whole thing's legitimate, he accused of the lawyer that was going against him. He was accusing his young associate that he was part of the communist movement too. And to the point where the lawyer is like, "Are you being serious right now? You're just accusing people left and right of anyone." And people are being like scared of that, and thus because of this lawyer pointing out his whole sham, it made the whole like entire thing disappear. And thus because of the whole thing, McCarthy just starts like he gave up, and then after a while he spiraled into alcoholism because of his loss, and then he later died in 1957. So what does that have to do with justice? Well, this whole demonstration pretty much shows how, because of one fear of something, everything else controlled by that fear can be easily manipulated. So, for justice, like I said, McCarthy became a judge, jury, and executioner to anyone whoever he says was a communist or not. And this is injustice because he's just accusing people left and right. And maybe once out he will get it right, but all the time he was just accusing random people because he assumed that they were, because they're either good people in Hollywood or because they're Democrats. And it's just the whole thing is injustice, and it was just broken the entire out because of this whole movement. It made the whole justice system broken, and it started to show the American people that it needs to be fixed because we couldn't just accuse people left and right and like just start a witch hunt for them. And overall, it was a very interesting moment in American history to just see this whole thing start out from using the people's fear to eliminate those who he believed that he doesn't like, and because of that he won, but not for a long shot afterwards. So this whole thing was just an interesting moment of American history, and to show that maybe this will repeat again later on in the future with this whole witch hunt idea and this whole using the people's fear as like a as ammunition for your own benefit. But overall, this is my whole presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Here are my sources, and I hope you have an amazing day.